Hello, students, and welcome to the last project of the semester, making one jar of jam. And this is for our Skills of the Past DIY class. Now, I gave you strawberries to make your jam, but I'm going to just let you know that you can make jam or jelly from any fruit that you have at home. This recipe allows you to make one jar of jam. So I looked in my fridge. I didn't have the strawberries that you picked up. I just had one jar of jam, one canister of guavas, and I had 6 strawberries. And so I'm encouraging you, because you can make jam, don't throw away your fruit. Preserve it by making it and turning it into jam. So I'm going to use these fruits and make my jam. First thing I need to do is cut it up, wash it, and cut it up. Discard any bruised or seeds that I don't want, or blemishes that are in the fruit. I want the good part of the fruit, and I'm going to get enough for 2 cups of cut up fruit. So I've got my strawberries and my guava, and I'm cutting it up to 2 cups of fruit. Next, what we're going to do is assemble all of our ingredients according to our recipe. Jam is very simple, very few ingredients, and here they are. To make 1 jar of jam, you need 2 cups of fruit, 3/4 a cup of sugar, the juice from half of a lemon, and 1 tablespoon of pectin. Now let me talk about pectin just a minute. What is pectin? Pectin is an all-natural substance. It's a starch. It's a complex carbohydrate. It is naturally occurring. It is a substance that naturally occurs in the cell walls of vegetables and fruits. What it does in the vegetable and the fruit, or even in the stems, it provides structure to keep the cell walls rigid. It makes your apples crisp. It makes things firm. So the interesting thing about pectin, it can be isolated, and it is a soluble fiber. Soluble fiber. I want to talk about that just a minute. When you look at a nutrition label, one of the listings on the nutrition label is soluble fiber. This is the good fiber, the good carbohydrate that is in fruits or vegetables. And pectin is one of those, it belongs in that category. And the interesting thing about pectin as a soluble fiber is that it actually gels when it reacts with acids and sugar. Now, you've had a piece of fruit. It's a little bit sour sometimes. That is the acid that is used to make a fruit become jam. If you have a sour enough fruit, you don't have to add lemon juice to make the pectin work. Pectin aids jelly preparation so that it helps the fruit or your fruit juice to be thick and become gelled, and that thick part that we know as jelly. So that is pectin. Well, to get started with our project then, we will use a clean glass jar and a lid. Now, you probably have some of these lying around your house. A mason jar works great. Any jar, you can reuse a jar. You can reuse an old jelly jar or a pickle jar or any glass jar that has a lid that has a lid that you can secure well. You'll want to clean that jar with soap and water. If you're going to use a pickle jar, that pickle can really still remain in that jar. So you need to really wash it with baking soda if you have something like that to clean all that out. Clean it well, wash it well. The next thing that we need to do for our jelly jar is we have to sterilize it. So you remember doing this when we made our pickles back in January. We sterilized our glass jars so that the only thing that is growing in our jar was the fermented vegetable, the cucumbers that we were working on. For this particular preparation, we're sterilizing the jar and the lid so that when we put our jelly, our hot jelly in there, we don't have any issues of things rotting. We want to make sure that that's clean. We don't want any germs, any bacteria or fungus to rot our fruit after we put it in the jar. So get a saucepan, put some water in it, heat it up, and the picture at the top there, you can see that I have my jar there, and my lid is in there too, and I'm heating it up. And as it heats up, you're going to let it very hot for about 5 minutes, and then you're going to take out the jar and the lid, and you'll let it drain upside down on a towel next to your stove. You're going to use that as your working space. So there it is, the sterilized jar and the lid. I'm going to dump out the saucepan water. I don't need that water anymore, and I'm going to use that same saucepan for my next step. The next step is to mix the cut up fruit and your sugar. That's all, just those two things. So put it back in the saucepan. There's no water in there. It's just the fruit and the sugar. I'm going to slowly heat those two things up by stirring and smashing the fruit. What happens then is the sugar will begin to melt as the fruit's juices are released. And then what you're getting is a fruit syrup with pulp. You can see there's seeds in guava, there's seeds in strawberries, there's a lot of water in strawberries, juice that are in strawberries. All that is going to come out as it is heated up. It's then that I encourage you to find a masher of some kind. I have a potato masher that I'm using to smash the fruit as it softens under the heat. But you can use other things too. You can use a spoon. You can use any other flat surface that's clean, a can that's clean, something that's going to smash that fruit. And you're going to continue to heat your syrup and stir it. You're going to bring that mashed fruit to a boil. Now, my particular syrup was very thick. Yours is going to be a little bit runnier because strawberries have more juice than guava. But you're going to see it boil or simmer, and you need to bring it all the way up to that heat. When the mashed fruit is boiling, it's then you're going to add 1 tablespoon of pectin and the juice of half a lemon, and then continue to stir. I'm continuing to stir this substance, and I'm going to bring the temperature up again so that this pectin inside the fruit is now going to boil for 1 minute. Set the timer. Be really religious about this. This allows the pectin to hydrate, and then it will react with the lemon juice and the acid in your fruit and the sugar, and then it will become very thick. After I've boiled my syrup for 1 minute, I'm pouring my boiled jam into my prepared mason jar. So there it is. I'm pouring it in, and see how hot it is. It's really hot, so be very, very careful. As I'm pouring it in, I'm scraping everything else, scraping it out, and I may have some spills or some drips onto the lid, the rim of the lid. Please wipe that down with a cold washcloth and get that lid rim very clean so that when you put the lid on and screw that lid on, you're making a good seal. And so I've put my lid on, it's a good seal, and now I'm going to let my jam rest and let it cool down. When the jam is cooled, it is ready. The jam is ready. I let mine cool overnight, and you can see the very rosy color that this turned. Yours, if you used all strawberry, it's going to be a beautiful dark red. I just used 6 strawberries, and it turned the guava a beautiful rosy color. And it is a firm jelly because it's cooled. Sometimes the pectin takes a little bit longer to gel. So just be patient with it. Let it get cool. Sometimes it takes a couple of days for the pectin to fully hydrate and to turn your jelly firm. Put it in the refrigerator, and you can use this jelly for up to 2 weeks. Mine's not going to last very long because it is absolutely delicious. So there it is. Don't throw away your fruit. Make a jar of jam and enjoy it on a peanut butter sandwich or on a cracker, and or on some cheese, some cream cheese. So it's a great way to still have the nutrition from fruit. Congratulations for finishing the class, and I hope you enjoy your jelly. Please send me a picture of your jelly. I'd love to see it.